What's poppin'? What's crack-a-lackin'? What's really good? Thank you for listening to The Rope Break, your source for news, opinions, and anything else that revolves around the world of professional wrestling. It is I, the Isle of Samoa's answer to Ryan Gosling, the Polynesian prince of penis pitching, Joe Maga. I am here.
Wow.
I am here with a ganja grinding, rare strain finding, dab torching, green scorching, not quite a cruiserweight, but a high flying son of a gun, the excellence of exhale, Brett the Hitman. Hey, buddy.
What's up, everybody? I'm happy to be back. I know we've been off the air for a couple of weeks, so happy to be back. What's up? What's going on with you, Bear?
All right. Now, before we kick it over to Bear, I just want to tell everybody that he is a man who can power an entire televised revolution with only the light that reflects off of his bedazzled Stormtrooper helmet, the marauder of masonry, Shockmaster Grizz. Say what up to him, Grizz.
I am in genuine awe of all of the introductions to this point today, and anything I might have said is lost.
Yeah, I spent some time writing that shit down today. I didn't just. I'll be honest with you.
That shit was hot as fucking fire. Good job.
I mean, I usually do spit it off the top, but I just kind of thank you. I appreciate that.
That was amazing. That was pretty damn amazing.
All right, so
before we start, fun fact of the day: Kurt Angle used to take 65 Vicodins a day. Just to let everybody know.
Oh my god!
He made that statement earlier this week. So
okay, so I did not know it was physically possible for a human being to consume that much of any drug.
I don't even know how he's still alive, to be honest with you.
65 Vicodin a day?
Yes, that's what he was saying.
Plus whatever else he was mixing up in that shit.
It's fucking crazy.
Well, he was saying that he was taking enough so that when he drank, it was fun. So,
ouch.
He was drinking on top of that at least.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, so, I mean, I would like to dedicate this show to the fact that Kurt Angle is still alive.
That's a good point of the show right there.
Yeah. All right, so basically, let's get into some stuff here. So now it is the end of September, and both of the first brand-specific pay-per-views of the new era are in the books. We had Backlash from the SmackDown side of things. On the Raw side of things was Clash of Champions, not Clash of the Champions, Clash of Champions. And I don't know, what are some of your immediate takeaways from the thing? Well, actually, first of all, Hitman, did you get a chance to tally up the Backlash picks?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to combine each month's pay-per-views together.
Oh, okay. I see. Now we're just going to add it all up.
We can do separate ones, too, if you want. I don't mind either way. Separate, we can give out more T-shirts separately if we want.
All right.
I just
what was it?
Saw it tonight for Clash of Champions, but hey, let's just add them up.
Okay.
You got shirt. I understand. Why wouldn't you be shirt? It's kind of like your Shinsuke Nakamura planning on fighting Samoa Joe again.
I'm sorry, you broke up there when you said that.
What'd you say?
You broke up there. I didn't catch that.
Oh. Are you serious? Or
no, I'm dead serious. I didn't even hear you.
No, I just said you guys sound like Shinsuke Nakamura planning on facing Samoa Joe again. You sound scared.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's just like these pay-per-views are every 2 weeks. And, I just figured, and there's only 6 matches on each. I just figured for the sake of mixing it up a little better, but we can do it.
Okay, you're right. You're fine. That's fine.
I'll
just have to get 7 out of 8 or whatever another couple times just to exert my dominance.
All right, so now with the Backlash and I'm sorry, I'm so tired, but between the Backlash and the Clash of Champions picks, how did we do?
All right, so we're doing the combo picks. We're not doing for each pay-per-view.
We'll start with each pay-per-view, and then we'll just tally up the overall for the prize.
Okay, I'll start with the Backlash pay-per-view. We'll just run through it really quickly. The first match was the Hype Bros versus the Usos, the last chance match. Do you want me to go through the matches, or how do you?
No,
want
you don't have to do that.
Just the records?
We could just see how we did with the records.
Okay, Backlash. Joe was 2-3, 2 wins and 3 losses. Bear was 3 wins and 2 losses, and Brett was 4 wins, 1 loss.
So really, Bear won anyway.
So in the combination of picks,
Probably.
I would say, okay, here's the totals. Joe was a total of 5 wins, 7 losses. Bear was a total of 9 wins and 3 losses. And Brett was a total of 8 wins and 4 losses. So the champion is Bear.
All right, so I want you to Shockmaster, I want you to apologize for the last 7 minutes of you bitching and moaning about the restructure.
How about this, though? I won.
Bear, you have your choice of a shirt from WWEshop.com on me and Joe now.
You know what? How about somebody else finance the Coronas for the, rope break financed by Corona at some point?
That works.
I don't want to go sending and shipping things because, I'm not going to fit a T-shirt around my bedazzled Stormtrooper helmet.
Done deal. We can get the Coronas.
So,
sure.
and I don't take this thing off. Like, I hope you realize.
Is that why you've got that slightly muffled and EQ'd sound going on to you? All right, so we've got the picks out of the way. The Shockmaster had the most picks out of the last pay-per-views, the last two pay-per-views. And brand-specific wise, why don't you guys give me like an overall outcome? Are you enjoying the way things are going, or are you not? Like, let's not dive, too much into shit right now, but we can go just one by one and sort of give our little take on the situation. Like, if we're enjoying the way things are going with the company as a whole, or are we not?
Barry, you want to start this one off?
Wait a second, Bear. Did you just wait a second? Bear, did you just drag race somebody off of the line? Like, did you just drag race? It sounded like fucking. It sounded like you just literally like peeled off at the line and are podcasting at the same time.
He stole the cop cruiser. That's what he did.
Yeah. Did you steal the cop cruiser from your adventure today?
Excuse me?
Man.
Guys, I'm ecstatic, and for everybody listening at home, the Shockmaster is going to be home. All right? I wasn't about to just reveal everything, and I hope that if this gets posted on Facebook, you don't tag me in it, because I'm trying to surprise a lot of people. But it's a done deal. Shockmaster will be in the studio going forward. So what I really have to say is, sorry about the peripheral noise.
Yeah, okay. It's all good, and we'll be certainly happy to have you back in the studio with us, and we're looking forward to that. But if you break my wall, I will not be a happy Samoan.
Neither will Town Square Media, probably.
Yeah. So, I guess like overall, I am happy with the way things are going. The matches have been good. There's a few things that sort of been a little bit nuts. So why don't we just start with the Raw brand, right? Let's go down to let's take a look back quick at the matches of Clash. I can't remember it. Clash of Champions, and then we'll just break down, see which way things have gone and what we think thereof. So what opened up the night?
The kickoff show was Nia Jax versus Alicia Fox, which everybody already knew what was going to happen in that match, which was Nia Jax destroying Alicia Fox. But they tried to make the match last a little longer, So it wasn't a complete 2-second thing with the jobber, but it was a pretty quick match.
Yeah, right. So basically, I mean, Nia Jax, she's just squashed her. As a matter of fact, I kind of thought that Alicia Fox got a little bit too much offense in on that one. I think they gave her a little bit too much. I think she should have just been a squash match. But, all right, so Nia Jax, do you like what's going on with her or no?
I do, but I don't know who she's going to wrestle, because if she's going to get a title, that means she has to go through Charlotte. Or I don't know, because it's like they make her seem like she's so dominant, no one's ever going to touch her. So they must be pushing her for the women's title at some point, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would give it another month or two of the squash matches just to sort of really turn her into that monster. One thing I think they need to really focus on is her character in that, like, she just, like, smiles a lot and stuff. She doesn't really look sometimes like she should look like a badass monster if she's going to do that. Aside from that, I think she needs a finish.
Yes.
Each week there's something different, right? They're not really giving her a concrete finish. And when you're doing, dude, it sounds like you are in, like, the depths of hell. It sounds like literally you came from, like, 1993's, like, I don't know, like, WCW thing where like you know where you are right now, Bear? You're in the Dungeon of Doom. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like when Kevin Sullivan.
I mean, it was a fire truck. They were probably going to save somebody's life, so it's a good thing. But
well, right on. Shout out to the Louisville FD. But, like, it sounds like you know when like at the beginning of these promos, like right when Hogan went to WCW for the first time there and had, like, Kevin Sullivan and, like, all the fake smoke and, like, those, like, ominous, you know, ambient sounds in the background of the Dungeon of Doom. That's what it sounds like that you're broadcasting from right now. So Shockmaster is live from the Dungeon of Doom, everybody. And I wish Nia Jax.
I'm 12 minutes out of a destination. Or you know what? I'll just pull up somewhere.
No, dude, don't worry about it. It's all good now. It's all good right now. Just don't worry about it. You'll just have to deal with me cracking a joke every time I hear something weird.
Yeah, the thing with Nia Jax, the question is she ready for main event status yet? I don't know if that is going to work for her yet, like you said. I think they're definitely going to try it out, but I guess it depends who the title's on at that point also. I mean, how can you really put her up against someone like Sasha Banks? Like, if she's destroying everyone that size, are they really going to say that Sasha Banks is really going to go up against her? You know what I mean? So
yeah, I can agree there. So hopefully they'll just continue to build the character of Nia Jax, and hopefully it'll work out. Okay, so
she's not developed enough yet. That's the whole point.
No, I
don't.
don't.
She reminds me of Bolzano, but, like, kind of pretty.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, they certainly have that sort of
like,
look to it.
Like Awesome Kong, but like The Rock looking.
Sure.
So
I agree with you.
I think she has a great opportunity because there isn't, like, a bigger, more, like, dominant female right now in the women's division. And, like, Sasha Banks has to fight somebody. But, like, I don't think Nia Jax has a ghost chance at anything while Charlotte's champion, because why would they put them against each other?
Right. Well, yes. So there's that. I mean, she's definitely a heel champion. But listen, in this day of gray, blurred lines everywhere, I mean, who the hell knows what they'll do? You know, that being said, you know, you compare her to Bull Nakano and Awesome Kong, which, you know, I could see that certainly within style and obviously body type. But here's the thing. Bull Nakano and Awesome Kong were already over, already skilled, and already taken care of by the time they were put in a main event position. The problem with Nia Jax, in my opinion, is that really she shouldn't even have been brought up from NXT. You know, by comparison, if you put her up against any of the women that they've brought up from NXT, Nia Jax is simply just not at that skill level yet. So we'll see. They just need to protect her, and they need to build her up. So but then
are they expecting her to? Are they expecting the other women to carry her to them?
Yeah, I could see that, but at the same time, it's like a lot of any of the other girls' movesets are not. They're not really conducive to be able to carry someone like Nia Jax into a match.
Exactly.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, the next match was Chris Jericho versus Sami Zayn, in which we all know Chris Jericho won that match.
Yeah, I mean, this was to be exactly what it was, just a filler match that was, you know, entertaining and, you know, let those guys go with it. They don't have anything for Sami Zayn yet, right? He wasn't even on Raw.
It's unbelievable what the creative's doing. There were so many
I would
matches on Raw.
Sami Zayn to win that match because Jericho's, like, whole thing is I want to put over younger guys now, except for the fact that his whole thing with Kevin Owens now is kind of taken off. So
yeah,
I don't know. I picked Jericho because I thought he was going to win, but I didn't think he should. I think Zayn should get some kind of momentum.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think they have anything for Zayn yet, and right now he's pretty much a white bread babyface, which is cool. Jericho, I think you're right with originally it was definitely supposed to be, putting the younger guys over and stuff, and it's still along those lines with, helping out at the main event. But now, see, Owens is up there and he's part of that gimmick, and he's really in the main event. I think ultimately what we're going to see is Jericho, feuding with Owens and Rollins, maybe even being involved in a triple threat at the Hell in a Cell. But we'll get to that once we start talking about the main event and stuff like that.
The next match was Sheamus versus Cesaro, which had no ending at all except for them beating each other up. You know what I mean? I was happy with the match, but I wasn't happy with the decision that they made, because after this on Raw, Mick Foley decides to put them together as a tag team so they can make a run at the titles. And their first match on Raw is against two jobbers. So it's like you're putting Sheamus and Cesaro up against two jobbers. Like, what sense does that make? There's been way too many jobber matches on Raw. The Raw ratings have been shit. I mean, they've had their lowest rating of all time this past week. I believe it was the lowest of all, or it's the lowest it's been in a really long time.
It's really been the lowest it's been since like '96.
It's been awful. They squeaked in a little match at the end with Cass and Enzo versus Jericho and Owens, but they only had a total of 6 matches on Raw. There was just a lot of talking and they had the presidential debate going on at the same time.
Yeah, well, okay. I think you're right, like the downward trend over the course of the last few months or the last year or so with Raw. I don't think it's necessarily completely fair to sort of compare to this particular week, because if I were them, I would have just done a throwaway match myself, right? Because you had the debate going on. Monday Night Football is still very hot. Going on into the season, we start to see those game, the quality of games diminish a little bit when the records start showing themselves.
Yep.
And as well as I do that Monday Night Football is not what it used to be. It's more Sunday night games now that are the better matchups.
Yes.
Now, with that said, I agree with you that it's not necessarily the right thing to do. One thing I did really like about Raw this week, though, was they spent a lot of time building to next week. Which, in the long run, when you just have a shitty week like this, but you can build to the next week and build to the next week and build to the next week, that will go a long way in building those ratings and getting things over, because there's something to anticipate. I think more so than some of the jobber matches, which I still really like and I'm still willing to hang in there with, mainly because of the depth issues on the roster and because of the fact that we need to build characters now because we've got so many new stars that aren't even really stars yet. But if you build to the next week, then it's not just relying on, everyone's going to tune in because it's Monday Night Raw.
Exactly.
We've got something that people are invested in. So that's what I liked about that, and hopefully...
Yeah, but what about Sheamus and Cesaro going for the tag titles now? Like, that's the ending we're really going to get out of that 7-series match? Or that best of 7 series that was going on?
Listen, I really don't want to bitch so hard. I agree with you. I thought the match was great. That was their best match of the 7. It made no sense because a couple different reasons. There was a botched spot that looked nasty. It looked like somebody was going to get hurt. It looked like Cesaro died.
I thought Cesaro broke his neck on that one when he dove out of the ring.
Like, I know hindsight is always 20/20, and it's a lot easier said than done. But like, if they were going to do that finish, they should have just cut the fucking thing short and ended it there.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we all would have been like, oh my god, he's actually hurt, and we would have bought right in.
I thought he was never going to move again after this way I saw he fall.
Instead, he looks like he breaks his neck. Gets up, continues the match, and then takes a clothesline that ends the match.
Unbelievable.
He took a clothesline into the wall and then couldn't continue the match, gimmick-wise anyway. So that was really strange. Basically, I don't see any reason for those two to be in a tag team. That makes no sense.
It's a terrible decision.
Yeah. Already we're seeing like it's going to just continue on in a feud. It's not going to be them being a tag team. We saw the whole thing that we saw a million times where they're beating the jobbers up and they're trying to one up each other.
Exactly. It's a terrible creative idea, if you ask me.
I think so too. I think there's actually a lot of missed opportunities there with the way that this best of 7 series could have ended.
That's the best fucking thing they could come up with for those two guys. Like, they just seem like they're so lost with what to do with some of these guys that they have, like especially Sami Zayn. You know what I mean?
I do.
He like you said, he came off the best match of his career with Kevin Owens, and here we are seeing Kevin Owens completely shine with the company right now, and it just seems that Sami Zayn has been, lost. Like, they're just leaving him behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
They need to find him a credible opponent that can make him rise even farther than he already has.
Maybe with Sami Zayn, they're just like, we know we can get some great stuff out of this guy, and we can, because he doesn't even have a gimmick.
Yeah,
like I said, he's a ska-loving newsboy.
Yeah, WWE just continues to diminish these characters that they have, especially like guys like Dolph Ziggler, who just continue to lose matches. Like, they're always in important matches, but they never get over. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
When was the last time you can say anything happened good for Dolph Ziggler? Like, he's always positive about everything, but how long can he really take this? Like, it's just beating him up inside. I'm sure he's pissed off in real life about all this. It just makes him look like an idiot.
Yeah, but I don't know. With Dolph Ziggler, I don't know. Dolph Ziggler is a different story to me than Sami Zayn.
It's totally different. You're right. I'm just comparing what WWE does with these guys that deserve more. You know what I mean? Sami Zayn.
Well, he is now. I hope he doesn't end up being the same story.
Oh, exactly.
Right.
They've now announced this match after SmackDown that The Miz is putting the title on once again against Dolph Ziggler, and if Miz wins, Dolph Ziggler never wrestles again. So it's like, are they giving Dolph Ziggler the belt here, or is Dolph Ziggler trying to leave WWE? Which one is it? And there was a few articles online about it today, which people are trying to say he's leaving WWE, but I'm thinking more maybe they're just going to give him the Intercontinental title, but I don't know.
I hope they keep Miz's streak going, and they just have Dolph Ziggler lose, and then he disappears for a little while, comes back as a Wyatt member. I just think that would be really the only thing. But
that's so good.
Yeah, but we're not. But let me go back to the streamline of thought that I was having, because with Sami Zayn, I think that he's proven that he can have the great matches with pretty much anyone he could pair him up with. So right now, like, let's build the champion up. Let's build this other brand up. Like, they can't just have everything for these guys all at once, right? So at least with Sami, there's something there. Now, Cesaro and Sheamus, I will bark at a little bit, because that's absurd. Really, it should have been best of 7. That should be the loses their contract match, right? Cesaro loses the best of 7, and then gets a contract and says, "Oh, hey, Daniel Bryan, you can sign me now." He goes over to SmackDown, and we've got our first little thing like that, and that would have been set up so much more. But hey, what are you gonna do? It just didn't happen like that, and now we're gonna see what is it? The New Day versus Cesaro and Sheamus at the next pay-per-view, or is it next week?
It's the
week
from Sunday.
When the New Day had a really good feud going with a cohesive tag team that had a history together. I don't know. I think we all agree the Bullet Club should have taken that.
It seemed like Gallows and Anderson were getting pushed to take the titles, but it doesn't seem that way anymore. New Day just keeps slipping away.
I think New Day. I think the WWE really wants New Day to break that demolition record. And
what's the record?
I'm down with that. I'm on board with that.
They're on over 400 days right now. So
yeah, they would have to be, I think, somewhere in December.
They're going to break the record then. I think that's what they're going for.
They might as well hold it on them at this point now.
Next match that we can talk about from Clash of Champions is the Cruiserweight title match, TJ Perkins versus Brian Kendrick.
All right. The match was okay. It was strange that it wasn't really like one of those crazy cruiserweight matches. It was much more of a very traditional wrestling match, which to introduce that on a pay-per-view, I don't know. What do you guys think? Before I go too crazy, what do you guys think of the way that they've introduced the cruiserweights onto the Raw brand? Do you think it's been okay, Brett, coming from someone who isn't really familiar with all these guys, right? And isn't really familiar with like certain styles and stuff like that. Like, what do you think of the cruiserweights coming in? Is it something that you're enjoying?
I don't know if they introduce them all the right way, or if they're sending too many of them in at one time. But a lot of people are more familiar with these guys from the Cruiserweight Classic now, so they know what a lot of these guys can do. It's just, are they going to catch on with the crowd? Are they going to do the right things with their characters? Some of them aren't very good on the mic because you can hear some of them talk and they're fucking terrible. But, they all have to get adjusted to what's going on and being on live TV and doing promos that people are going to catch on to, which, some of the guys look good. Like Cedric, obviously you guys always talk about Cedric Alexander, and I've seen a lot of him lately. He looks amazing. But, a lot of these guys look amazing. But what is going to, who's really going to step up and who's going to rise between all these guys that are coming from the Cruiserweight,
Yeah, I think we've they've missed a few opportunities. I think it's very similar to the way they introduced the women, this next wave of women on NXT about a year and a half ago. I don't know, man. I don't think that it was necessarily the best way to introduce any of these cruiserweights. And like for instance, they had T.J. Perkins, who didn't even show up on the first night of Raw, and then he shows up at the pay-per-view with a belt. Like, you don't even know who he is.
Half the people were like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It is what it is. They're not showing off the spectacular moves and stuff they could do. I understand that the concern is that of injuries and things like that that have been plaguing the roster. But
it seems like they are pushing Brian Kendrick as like a pretty hard heel against him. Like, he was pretty good on the mic.
No, he was excellent. I mean, that was fantastic.
So you think he's going to take the belt from him? Is that what I'm assuming?
I don't know if he's going to take the belt from him, but he's certainly far and away the best I've seen out of the cruiserweights.
Obviously, he has the most experience and everything, right?
Yeah.
The next match was obviously New Day versus Gallows and Anderson, and we already spoke about how New Day won this match already. I already know how Bear feels about this because he really wanted to see the club win. I don't know. Like I said, they were getting a pretty strong push, especially with all those promos against the New Day that they did incredibly well with. So I really thought that they deserved it, and they do deserve it at some point. But I guess we'll see if New Day is going to break this record or not, which seems like they're pushing towards now.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep that way. What do you guys think is next for the club?
Really would.
I actually, there are a couple of theories I have going on. One of which would have the club like taking on new members, but not really good ones, and then the Shield having to reunite to face AJ, Gallows, and Anderson, or like TNA invades like that. I've got ideas across the board. But I think the best way to reunite the Shield would be to create a dominant club and to have, Gallows and Anderson lead it on Raw, AJ lead it on SmackDown, and it's a stable that exists between both brands and kind of just overpowers everybody.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I actually, not to cut off this conversation, but I definitely want to really dive in to a potential. I want to dive into TNA next week and some of the things that could be either be potential with some fantasy booking and things, or where it breaks down. I will say this: I don't want to get into a debate right now because I want to spend some time with it. I want to look more into it. I want to see what happens with the Bound for Glory situation and the sale of TNA and stuff like that. But it's easy to make the comparison of trying to an invasion angle like with WCW, but TNA never even held a candle to WWE. It never meant anything.
WCW, yeah.
So
I think. Go ahead.
I personally wouldn't want to see an invasion angle or anything like that. I don't think it makes any sense, and we know that there's no way in hell it would ever be different than the last time because Vince will just do everything they can to make WWE look like the best. So any sort of invasion angle for the time being right now is just it would be watered down and completely diluted and wouldn't really make any sense. Plus, AJ Styles went out and did nothing but bash TNA the whole time after he left. So like in for a shoot, like in the public's eye, so that it would be completely unbelievable that he would be, Team TNA.
Like nationality, right. I just think if you had AJ, Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, Eric Young, TJ Perkins, if you had all these guys who made a name for themselves elsewhere and now they're here, right? If you had them get together, they don't have to call themselves TNA. They don't have to say that they're invading from another company. Just say like, hey, we are here to make a name for ourselves because we finally got here together. As a stable, they could make some noise and make some compelling television. And if they're together, they're not fighting each other, which means we're not seeing the same matches that we used to see them in. They're all new matches with WWE guys.
Yeah, that's cool. So maybe something a little bit more along the lines of Radicals.
And 2 of them already have titles. 2 of them already have titles.
Yeah. So like I said, something a little bit
like,
more.
Okay, well, we're getting together. We're taking this hostage. It doesn't have to be called an invasion. They never once have to say the letters TNA consecutively. But to be like, we're the guys that you brought in here who you didn't think could cut it, and now we're in charge. Then you've got a completely different perspective. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess.
That'd be cool. And like I said, I want to dive a little bit more into that once we kind of see the fate of TNA over the next week or so. But yeah, you got some good points there, man. Like I said, I could definitely see something along the lines of what you're saying, like when Saturn and Benoit and Eddie and who else was the fourth one that came, and Dean
Radicals.
Yeah, Dean Malenko came in. That was cool, and they didn't really take that to the full potential that it did, but that would be something that could be really interesting. Also, they can definitely say the words TNA in the same consecutively as long as Maria comes back into this situation. I saw something from Maria today that was with the Bullet Club, namely AJ, Gallows, and Anderson from Japan. That was an angle that if they tried in the WWE, I think it would really work. I thought it was really funny, really entertaining, and it would totally work. So if you know the angle I'm talking about, you'll know what I mean. All right, so with that, I don't think anything has come really out of this pay-per-view, to keep storylines moving forward. But there were some things on Raw that kind of led to the next thing, except for Gallows and Anderson kind of didn't really. So
the next match was the U.S. title match, Rusev versus Roman Reigns, which Roman Reigns became the United States champion.
Yeah, he did.
Comments on that?
Nothing.
I definitely called that.
Yeah. Nothing other than now at this point with the U.S. title on Reigns. I don't think Reigns will be, anywhere near the main event probably until about Royal Rumble time.
Yeah, it's going to be a little while for him.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think that's their way of explaining to him, when he got that 30-day suspension, whatever it was for, hey, you were a main eventer, and now we're going to... No, Vince is kind of bumping him down a little bit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's still up there, but he's not going to be, like you said, going for the WWE title.
Sure,
He's in, like he is, it's kind of like a John Cena type of role with the fans, too,
Yeah.
So, that's what he's going to be, United States champion, because John Cena's going to go try to get the belt for, the 16th time and tie the record?
Yeah.
So
that's cool. I think I think you're right. A lot of that might have to do with his troubles. It definitely has to do with his troubles getting over with the crowd, and also his troubles with the suspension and all that. But I think this is just another way for the WWE to try and get people to like Roman Reigns.
Exactly.
And bring him down a peg and see what happens.
The best match of the night was probably the women's triple threat match. Definitely was an amazing match, I thought, especially when Charlotte did the backwards moonsault off the top outside of the ring. Definitely give them all credit, because those are three of the best women wrestlers we've ever seen.
Yeah, Charlotte's moonsault is fucking sick.
They're just unreal. Sasha Banks and Bayley and her, just things you've never seen before that you've seen these women do, so you know how hard they work. And at least they're finally representing the women's division the right way and in the way it should be,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm glad Bayley won on Raw, because it was starting to get to a point where you can't just keep beating Bayley. And here's the thing with a lot of these NXT.
She was fighting a jobber too, correct?
Yeah, well, yeah. Anna Fields has kind of been around a little bit, but yeah. Listen, I don't really know why they aren't giving Bayley a little bit more of a backstory.
Like you said, is it for injury reasons? Like you said, maybe just so they can kind of have a night off a little bit, like where they're not fighting as hard as a competitive person. It's just like you said, like a match.
Yeah, you're talking about with the jobbers. Yeah, I could see. Yeah, I guess there's also some severe depth issues, especially in that women's division.
Yes,
so you can't just have the same matches over and over again. So I'm okay with them bringing in people. Listen, the jobber thing. Wrestling was like that for almost 100 years before that Attitude Era where everything was.
They don't do that on SmackDown though. It's just the interesting thing. SmackDown sticks to the guys that they have, and they give them the shots and the opportunities that they need. I don't have a problem with
They don't have an hour and 20 minutes to fill.
Exactly. I don't necessarily hate the jobber thing either. I am not a fan of how much they're doing it, but I can understand it from the point of view that you're giving some of these people exposure that they need for the future, or that somebody can realize who they are. So, I mean, maybe they're just throwing chances out there for other people. They're trying to pick up new people that they think can be stars one day, you know? So it just helps them take a look at other people, but not exactly when they have to fight people like Nia Jax and they don't have a chance to even get any moves off. That doesn't help either. But those people, I guess, you know, I'm sure they get paid a little something and they're happy to be on TV, you know?
Sure.
So.
Sure, yeah, no, it's great. I mean, I think that I'm okay with the jobber thing. I would like to see just a little bit more character development out of Bayley. Let the people know that, you know, she is someone that she's relates to the kids. You know, because when they were in NXT, they had that little girl. I think her name was, I can't remember her name. It escapes me right now, but that was like all part of Bayley's gimmick and stuff. So
let her know that she's a hugger.
Right.
That's a good point.
She's a hugger. Like, that's, you know, she's gonna hug you.
Totally.
The last match of the pay-per-view was the Universal title match, Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins, where Kevin Owens successfully won the Universal title back, which there was a lot of interesting moments at the end of this match where Stephanie kind of interrupted and threw the ref down at the end after Rollins already had pinned Kevin Owens like 10 different times. So, you know.
Yeah, Stephanie's annoying. I can't even speak on it anymore. She has go away heat in my eyes. She always did. But I think that was a good match. It's unfortunate that Seth Rollins is injured again. I don't know what needs to be done with him.
We don't know the extent of the injury yet.
He's on TV.
I seen he was on TV. I thought towards the end of that match he was going to disrupt and have Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho lose the match, but obviously since he didn't come back down after the security took him back, you know he is actually injured and he can't fight because he would be out there doing that. And I don't know. I wish the best for him because he's an incredible wrestler, but you know maybe he just has to do. That's why they don't want these guys doing these crazy moves all the time. But you know it's they're going for the new era and they see all these guys doing these crazy moves now, so they all are trying to stick to it. You know what I mean? So I give him credit. I mean he's doing what he's supposed to be doing and he puts a show on for the fans. You know people get injured and things happen, but I just hope this injury that he has isn't an extended period of time because he's very valuable to the WWE and we need him to wrestle.
Yeah. I mean, I know that the styles and stuff are way, way more intense, and some of these maneuvers are way more intense these days, but I've never seen anything like this with such an insane plague of injuries. As a matter of fact, Jericho built it into his promo on Raw.
He did, which was pretty cool.
But it was true, too.
Very true.
I mean, he pioneered a lot of this cruiserweight shit, and
He's never been injured.
He's never been injured like that. I mean, mind you, he's the son of a pro hockey player, and he's from fucking...
He's an incredible talent on the mic and in the ring, especially for his age right now, and the moves that he still does.
Yeah.
You know, you think, like, some of the matches you see are like, all right, he's not going to do that, but no, he does it anyways. You know, he puts himself on the line every night, too, when he wrestles. I mean, he's not obviously capable to do what some of these guys are doing right now because of his age, but he still puts on an incredible match.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
You know, he's right. He's never been injured before, and props to him for that. You know, whatever he's doing, maybe they should try to model off what he's doing or whatever. You know,
yeah.
And be like, hey, dude, you know, what are you doing different that some of these guys aren't doing? You know, because you know, obviously Jericho doesn't mess around with the weights too much, and you know, Rollins and Cesaro and these guys are doing all, you know, what do they call that? The CrossFit thing.
CrossFit,
yeah.
You
know, they're in incredible shape. Both of them, you can see how strong they are, especially Cesaro. You know, and how fast Rollins healed from his injury. And it's because of these workouts that they do. But are they overdoing themselves? You know what I mean? Is it too much work on the body?
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah, definitely. You know, and there definitely could be some drawback to doing a lot of these moves. Like, I'd like to see, we talked about it before, I'd like to see the buckle bomb go away. I don't think it's the kind of match you don't know where you're landing. That's really the bottom line with that particular move.
Did either of you guys catch SmackDown this week?
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I know all about it. I read the whole thing.
Yeah, there was about 3 fucking matches on the whole show. So
yeah, I mean the big takeaways from that were the John Cena thing at the end with how they had more beef with Ambrose.
How about the Usos coming out? Obviously they're bad guys now. Bear, if you didn't see SmackDown, they came out. They had like new attire on and everything. They're not like, you know, wearing the good guy stuff anymore. They look like they're coming out as thugs.
Yeah, I like it. The best.
It looks really good for them.
Yeah, the best part about the Usos for me right now is that they both are using the Tequila Sunrise to finish matches.
Yes.
That fucking finish is nasty.
It's really
and no one has used it since Conan. So I'm really pumped about that. I love that move.
Yeah.
It's funny, too, though, because they... They must listen to Conan's podcast, even though he's not on it anymore. But he was saying, like, I haven't seen anyone use the Tequila Sunrise yet. It's funny.
Paying their respects.
You remember that move, Bear?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Come on. That's painful, too. I've, applied it. Been applied.
Yeah.
It's, it's not... It's, and I'm not saying, like, I'm a pro. I'm just saying, like, when you and your buddies are messing around, before or after a couple of beers, if somebody puts you in the Tequila Sunrise, you're like, damn, this is supposed to be fake.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, there's a famous story out there that Jericho when Conan was going to take the US title from Jericho, that Jericho came to Conan before the match and said, "You've been putting that Tequila Sunrise on people way too loose, and it looks like shit. When you slap it on me, it better be as hard as you possibly can." and he did it. And if you look back at that match on the WWE Network for $9.99, you can absolutely see how hard Conan put that Tequila Sunrise on Jericho. And it's funny because it ties into the last conversation we had where Jericho was never injured.
I gotta check that out because I've actually never seen that.
Yeah,
Jericho and Conan had some good matches for both the U.S. and the TV title. Man.
They did.
Like, I'm not a Conan fan, but
that's very true. I'm a huge Conan fan. I think that he did a lot for this business, man. There would be a lot going on there would not be a lot of stuff that goes on today if it was not for Conan, and that's the honest to God truth.
Well, at the time, I was a huge Jericho mark, and he always beat Jericho, so I was like, fuck, dude.
Sure.
Fuck this thing.
Sure.
I remember the time he hit the X-Pac facebuster finisher.
Oh, yeah.
When Jericho had the TV title, and he hit that on Jericho with the TV belt in the ring, and I was like, no, it's a disqualification! Like, so.
Yeah. Also, there would be no Master P in wrestling, or the No Limit Soldier. Remember him? Remember that wrestler?
Yeah. Oh, that's big and deep, bud.
Yeah. No. No, I was kidding, but that was probably one of the worst blemishes on Conan's career. But the guy is pretty much him and Kelvin Sullivan are solely responsible for that cruiserweight division even coming into WCW. So there's that.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I mean. The stuff with
Triple A that he's running down in Mexico.
He actually just recently got canned from AAA.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he is out doing some television stuff in Mexico that he had to leave his podcast for. But good for him. I mean, he had a crazy life after wrestling, and it all kind of worked out full circle for him. So, and he's doing really well for himself. So. It's all good for the K-Dog. But back to the Rollins and Owens and Jericho stuff, I think what's end up going to happen, because of all the interference, it's obviously leading toward the Hell in a Cell for them. So I think it's going to be, and same goes for the women, Charlotte and Sasha and all that. So I think you're going to get two Hell in a Cell matches, one being Charlotte and Sasha and Bayley, and the other one being Jericho, Owens, and Rollins.
Is that the first one they've had for the women's title, or women in general?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I want to say yes. I don't believe they've ever even had any type of cage match for women.
When the Bellas fought each other, were they in the cage? No, they weren't.
I want to say no.
They weren't.
I'm pretty sure that they've never had a women's one.
Nikki and Brie Bella. No, they didn't go in the cage.
No. Do girls have cage matches?
This is going to be the first one if they do it this year, I believe. I'm almost 99% sure.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll hear something otherwise, but I don't know about that.
I know in TNA they have ladder matches and they're phenomenal. Like, they do a great job. I'm not trying to demean it. I just, I didn't think WWE had a Divas or women's steel cage match yet.
I know when AJ Lee was there, she was pushing for it. She wanted to be one of the first women to do it.
Huh.
Joe's looking it up right now.
Yeah, I'm not finding.
Well, regardless.
I can't find anything right off the bat. Yeah.
I want to go out on a limb and predict that Ziggler, it's a good way for him to get out of Dodge. But, man, if he left and came back as a Wyatt, how good would that be?
Yeah, I think it could totally work for him. Dye his hair black.
I don't even think he needs to grow a beard.
No, he doesn't need to grow a beard. He need they could give him some Scott Hall scruff or whatever, and then have his hair down forward over his face a little bit, like the Ring style a little bit, and then have just him just be that. It's a built-in character. He's been broken down for so long, and now Bray Wyatt is so captivating that he's convinced him that he could build him up.
At this point, it's the best thing for
Did
him.
you hear about the stable they were thinking of putting together, though? I read this. It is what it is, but I heard the whole point of Shelton Benjamin coming back was to put him now with, Swagger and Ziggler and be like a shoot wrestling stable.
Oh, wow. I didn't hear any of that. I don't know about that, man. We already saw what happens when Ziggler and Swagger get together.
Jack Swagger just looks fucking terrible.
Right.
Well, Swagger's got a new fucking gimmick now.
It's fucking terrible. He's terrible on the mic.
What is he supposed? Is he supposed to be a skater guy now?
He's got a
fucking giant skater boy.
He's got a major lisp too when he's on.
Oh,
the mic.
dude! Listen,
unreal.
the first year of this podcast was me bagging on nobody but Jack Swagger. As a matter of fact, I called him Swagger all the time.
Hey, Jack Swagger.
Yeah.
And I was with you. I was with you on.
They just need to stop giving that guy a fucking mic. That's the bottom line with him. He's just, I don't know. He belongs on, I hate to say this about him. I mean, he's probably a good guy and everything. He's a wrestler. His character is fucking boring. He belongs on main event. He's just not, they're just, everyone does the We the People thing, but if they're going to do that, bring Zeb back with him. You know what I mean? Do something.
Oh, God, please don't bring that gimmick back.
They got to do something. I mean, this guy's just
They just need to go, dude. What they need to do,
trash.
They need to pay, they need to just, you know what they need to do is they need to fire Swagger and bring his wife in, because on a scale from 1 to 10, she's like a 16, and he's just nonsense. He's terrible.
He's just like Ryback for me. I can't watch them.
Yeah. At least there's AJ Styles. Yeah. So Ryback is probably going to end up in
I
Japan.
think they should put him in a feud with Lesnar first, like a wrestler versus wrestler thing, and then. Because I think that would have a little mileage.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean,
He's big enough to stand up to him, right?
Yeah.
Have him be like, my career means nothing. I need to prove myself before my career's over. I'm just going to attack Brock Lesnar out of fucking nowhere. And just, start the fight. And then Lesnar will crush him. It'll be embarrassing. But it would be entertaining, and it would give you something to do with Brock.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good point. Maybe you put and that's kind of entertaining, right? So maybe you do that. Maybe you put Shelton, Swagger, Ziggler in line for Brock, right? All leading to Samoa Joe. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea, Bear. I kind of like that.
Did you see the? Oh, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Did you see on SmackDown they had 10 different skits and promos for Wyatt and freaking Orton? He was just looking.
Oh man,
it was fucking terrible.
Oh man, I don't even know. Literally, Bray Wyatt told the story of Hansel and Gretel on the fucking air.
Dude, it was fucking. The creative team is just blowing my mind lately. Who approves these fucking ideas, man?
What does Hansel and Gretel have to do with Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt?
That's how you put people to sleep. That's what you do.
And I never got to see how they were going to figure out who eats who. Are we eating the world? Are we eating a rabbit? Are we eating a man?
Dude, he's looking on each door to see which door to go behind.
Breeding snakes.
Breeding snakes.
Breeding snakes.
Oh, right. That's right. This week. Well, no. That's right. Well, no. It was snakes. I don't know. They made some weird. Orton said something weird. He was like, Bray, people are afraid of you, but people are also afraid of snakes and spiders.
Something stupid.
Yeah. It was really dumb.
Something-
It was really dumb.
Who the fuck is coming up with this shit, man?
Yeah, the shit with Wyatt and Orton is really
Well,
bad.
On a better note, they say that Luke Harper is ready to return. They're just not what show to put him on. So let's hope he sticks with Bray and he can hopefully develop this Wyatt thing to go a little farther, because it's just the Wyatt, like even Bray, like all his matches, they have great opponents, but he seems to get buried on all of them. Like he's the bad guy. Like you should be afraid of him, but he doesn't win matches, so it doesn't make any sense. You know?
Yeah, it's strange. It's really strange.
So what? Randy Orton's going to bury him with the RKO this time, and he's going to lose again. I'm assuming.
I hope not after that fucking fiasco last pay-per-view.
They also said Tamina's returning soon too. I know we were confused with the whole Snuka thing going on. They just said they don't know what they're going to do with her either, but they said she's ready to return to action. So we should see something with her soon too.
Well, that's interesting. They might be trying to just give her some money so that they could not have to pay for that lawsuit anymore, or that trial anymore. All right, well, we're rounding the 50-minute mark, so I think all things said, we should call it a night for this week, and then looking forward to having Shockmaster in the studio live with us next week. And
Shockmaster.
Yeah, I will be there, or I will be square.
Shockmaster, you want limes with those Coronas or what?
What?
You want limes with those Coronas or what?
No, man, no. Forget it.
He's
Let's
like, fuck this bullshit.
go hard like people who go hard. It's going to be good. I'm just really don't actually buy anything. It's totally cool. And like
me and Joe,
I was only making this thing for the sake of entertainment. Like I can't believe I got what I got.
Yeah, man.
At all.
You killed it on the Clash of Champions
Except for
pay-per-view.
the fact that the product is a little stale. So
It's very true.
I can't even believe that's possible after completely revamping the whole thing. And now you're right. It is a little stale. Right down to the
SmackDown is. I don't think SmackDown is stale, and I think this is the new Shockmaster Joe Maga war, where I'm saying Sunny isn't a whore, even though she definitely is. And I mean, since I used to say Sunny's not a whore, she had sex on film for money. So.
She had sex on film for money. She lied about having cancer. She held a.
Not the only time I've been wrong.
And this is like a best of rope break moment of 2014.
Is she a fucking drug addict or something? She looks like she's fucking.
I don't think she.
distraught.
I don't
see her picture.
I don't necessarily know if she's on drugs anymore, but she did hold a autograph session in which men could hop up in a bed with her for a photo opportunity. And that was actually the.
Well, I meant the actual pornography that she took part in, but okay. There's that too. That's even worse. What you're saying is even worse.
Yeah.
She looks like shit now, right?
I mean, yeah, she's definitely in
like
her.
It's weird with some of these ex-WWE people and how they look like almost like China. You can just see her fading away a little bit. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, she's faded away.
R.I.P. to China, obviously, you know what I mean? But, like, you know what I mean? Like, as before she passed away, like, you could see that something was really affecting her, whether it was drugs or whatever was going on. I forget what was the exactly how she died or whatever.
Somebody cut her dick off.
It just seems like when you look at her face, you're just like, you know, something's wrong with her. Like, you know what I mean? She's not all there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is the new war and the excellence of Exhale will actually be able to provide a mediator.
Okay.
I take down.
All right. Well, we'll see. I think SmackDown's pretty much hot garbage when they have three matches and then 17 skits. Dude. Randy Orton opened a door.
Bear, if you saw this, you would totally understand.
Randy Orton opened a door, and Eric Rowan was standing there, and then he closed the door and walked away.
He walked away.
Yeah.
He opened another door, and then nobody was fucking there. So I'm like, dude,
I love it. that you all hate Randy Orton. Thank you.
I love Randy Orton, but I just can't, dude. If you saw what was going, it was just throughout SmackDown the whole fucking time. It was like we went back to this 10 different times, and it was just so fucking stupid. I was literally falling asleep when this shit was going on. Like, I would just be like, "Are you guys fucking serious with this right now?" Like, if I was Randy Orton or Bray Wyatt, like, this is fucking trash, honestly. Like, nobody's gonna step up and say that because they're all getting paid anyways. But dude, this is just.
So
fucking...
it's not like Delete or Decay.
Nowhere near that.
Not even close.
Nowhere near that entertaining. All right. Well, cool. Great show. Thank you for everybody for listening. And with that, I am Joe Maga, and for the Excellence of Exhale and the Shockmaster Grizz. See you next week, everybody. Talk to you later.
Don't take 65 Vikings today, right?